Morning, Atlam. Mrs. Mac got me laughing before the stream, and I just started coughing at the end of the laughing fit, and now I've got a bit of a scratchy throat. Give me a minute. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. Honestly, like, if I get laughing too hard, I get wheezing from laughing, and then it makes me cough. I have a very hearty laugh, like a very loud laugh, and it just takes the wind out of me. So, yeah, definitely it can happen. Welcome back, Chim. Welcome back, Rev. Just noticed we've got 3 follows already for the weekend, so I'm gonna have to add some cheese in a bit. Oh my gosh, I just realized I was muted. I realized it before you told me. So, welcome back to Mapmaker Monday, everyone. I just spoke a ton and didn't realize that my mic was muted, which sucks because I stopped because I was coughing, and hopefully I don't cough anymore. Anyway, we've been working on this map for the past few weeks. Every Monday, we work on it for about an hour or 2 hours. It is a multi-floor ice palace that when you look at it from above, it looks like a big snowflake. I have been working on it level by level, sort of adding lighting, adding snowlum guards, decor of sorts, statues, pylons, pyramids, all these random things on each floor to kind of just make it look like a, I don't know. I don't know the exact aesthetic I'm going for. I want to kind of feel brutalist and minimalist at the same time. Anyway, as you could see, there are walkways around the outside with spires. There's these snowmen guards all around the complex in various positions. I think we're on the 5th floor now. Yes, we are. Hey, Anani. I'm in a bit of a coughing fit at the moment, and I just feel like it's not pleasant when I'm like coughing. It looks like I'm unhinging my jaw like a boa constrictor, so I'd rather just, you know, let you not have to see that. Only imagine it. Trying to just look at everything I did on I did on this floor, and trying to see if there's a way where I was at and what I was working on. Definitely gonna want to work on this, but I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on this floor. We've got guards, we've got, decor. I might be able to add some statues. The lighting is really decent on this floor because I'm using abstract lighting, kind of just filling in all the voids with blue abstracts. Oh my goodness. Oh, fighting off that cough, but I don't want to fight it off too much. How was everyone's weekend? Did you do anything fun or interesting this weekend? And if you did, let me know about it. I'd love to hear about it. If you did any tabletop gaming, any tabletop prep, did you go out and go on a fun date? Did you get to visit with friends or family? Did you just work, or maybe you had a staycation and relaxed at home? Hey, Beto, Ben, how you doing? Welcome. I love Dungeon Alchemist as well. It is very fun to build maps in. It's sort of cathartic for me. I often just build maps with really no intention of even using them for myself. Well, if you'd like, I can show you a little bit. But I'm sure you know there's multi-level in Dungeon Alchemist, right? Let me save this a couple times. Let me show you what this looks like. So this is an 8-floor ice palace. And it's mounted on like this big, huge ice shelf. So it's really tall. We're working on decorating the interior now, but I want to show you how to do shaping and multi-level real quick. Okay. So you grab the room tool, right? Just a few quick things so you know some things you might have missed out on if you weren't aware. When you use the room tool, you have several different options. You can generate new rooms, you can remove rooms, or you can edit existing rooms. This settings tab allows you to dictate how the room generates. So it'll generate without certain, like you could tell it to generate without objects or lighting. You could say no roofing, no doors, windows, no walls, no floors, etc. So essentially you can make it without anything. Now that said, when you have all these other objects, it will generate a more filled structure ready to go. That's pretty basic. But when you're drawing a room, you can drag and shape it, along a square or rectangular design pretty easily. But if you want to make something, say, circular, I made this to start an 8x8, right? You see these little dots on the corners? You can grab them with your mouse and you can pull outward or inward. And then you can make round bites into the design, giving it a unique shape, which helps to, when you're shaping castles, spires, towers, etc. When you want to do a perfect circle, you do need to be an equally divisible shape. So it needs to be an even number of squares on all sides. So 4, so it's 8x8. So it's, when you split it in half, it's 4x4. Does that make sense? Or I mean, you have 4 squares on all sides for it to split equally. So you can't make a perfectly round shape unless it starts as, 8x8, 10x10, 12x12, etc. If it is, say, 7x7, and you try to make it round, it will always be slightly unequal, making it like an ovoid or a lemon shape. So that's how you make like an egg shape. Now, when you're generating structures, before you generate them, you can rotate them. You can raise or lower them. All of this can be done before you generate it. And of course, shape it. Once you shape it, get it in the axis you want, and then have it at the height you want, you generate it. At this point, you have a single floor structure. If you go up a floor with the new floor widget, you can press the plus key or minus key as a hotkey to navigate, or you can click the up-down arrows. Notice we have a simple 1-floor tavern that actually looks really quaint. But if we want to add another floor, we can just grab the room tool and drag the other floor. Oh, why is that being wonky? Being wonky. Anyway, we now add another floor on top, and this is the basic concept of, making a multi-floor structure. Maybe you want to expand off of this and make a little hallway off the side with a, a big room over here or a patio or something. I don't know. Does that look neat? We can add pillars or objects underneath if we want to give it more support realism. But multi-floor and shaping rooms into all sorts of shapes has been available for some time now. Let me show you one more quick thing when it comes to room shaping. Remember I showed you these circles on the sides? You can pull inward for round, you know, cuts, outward for, you know, convex or concave, basically, bites. Or if you pull to the side and down, it'll do diagonal cuts. So you can do a mixture of round and diagonal rooms. All sorts of weird shapes. The more you play with this, though, the more you get familiar with the types of shapes you can make. So, Beto Bend, I hope that helped you out with some tips on how to, you know, get into multi-level, how to shape structures, etc. Rev, yes. So, Lord Rev on Twitch asks, question, in Fun with Objects Part 2, will items grouped created in one map be available in other maps? This may have been mentioned previously, but I can't remember. Yes. So you'll be able to drag over and group objects. You'll drag a box over the objects in the area, and then you can create a grouping of objects that you can move around on the map together or copy and paste anywhere on the map. But you can also save that grouping, and there'll be a new object section right here for sets, is what they're called. A set is a grouping of objects that you have configured and saved. Sets can also be shared on the workshop. So there'll be a new section on the workshop. So not only will we have, you know, maps and objects you can share on the workshop, but you can also design sets and share those sets on the workshop. So what that means in plain English is you can group objects together, save those groupings, and move them between maps. You can also download other people's shared groupings and then put them in your maps. Yeah, you can make like an object grouping that's like a watermark. You can make and decorate like a room like this and have it pre-decorated, so anytime you add this shape to a map, you can just stamp the objects into it, call it a day. There's going to be a lot of potential for this. I imagine people in our community will also just go through and make sets all day for designing. Notice we'll also have the ship builder, so you'll be able to build a ship, at least the primitive version of ship builder, kind of the alpha build of the ship builder. You'll be able to build ships and then save those ships as a set and then move them between maps or share them on the workshop. It's going to get a little swifty with all the things you'll be able to do. I believe I have a teaser of that. Let me see if I can find it. Oops. What the heck? Sorry about that, everyone. Tina, where's Tina's question? I missed it. Tina. I have a question. I'm wondering if it's just me. So you can only, it's a limitation currently that you can only build circular maps up to 20 by 20, or a circular structure up to 20 by 20. Beyond 20 by 20, it becomes what I call a squircle. It's got like square sides and round corners, which allows you to expand far beyond that. And honestly, squircles are a great way to get around a certain limitation in Dungeon Alchemist at the moment. Which You know what? We're gonna look at it again. You know what? I'm gonna switch to dark parchment once we get here. Oops, that's green screen. Okay, so we're gonna turn on the grid. The grid. I try to imagine bits of information as it moves through the computer. What does it look like? Okay. You're not crazy. It's just not a thing. So 20 by 20 is the max circle you can make. But to that end, I want to explain how squircles are useful. So there's a bit of a limitation with Dungeon Alchemist and circles right now. And I'm just going to continue calling it a limitation until the devs patch it out, because I've been asking them to fix it for some time now. But when you have a circular room like this, right? A perfect circle. Fun with objects part 2, if I had to guess, fall, winter sometime is probably my best guesstimate. About half of our dev team is out of the office for various reasons, just all vacations, summer vacations. One of our devs is taking just an extended a bit of leave because he was getting some burnout. But we're still working on it behind the scenes with art and various aspects of the development, and we're getting very close to the update. But there's a few things we just need to batten down and test and make sure it's functional before we commit to adding it to this update. And that'll require a couple of the devs who are currently out of the office to return. But like one of our junior devs just got back, a couple of our art team got back. But I think our lead dev is currently out of the office at least until the end of the month. So when you go to add a hallway that's a straight hallway on a round room that's perfectly round, back to my point that I wanted to discuss, they don't perfectly connect, okay? And you'll notice here what I mean. Notice that there's actually ever so slightly 2 sets of walls here. There is one here, and there's one there. This causes problems when you want to add a doorway that's between these two. As you can see, sometimes won't even attach to the inner wall, right? Which is problematic. Anyway, so the squircle issue actually solves this. Let me show you what I mean. So although it's not a perfect circle, has some of these sort of straighter edges in here, right? Make sure I get this just right. I think I pulled one side in just a little too far. Notice how there's a single edge here we can connect and make like a straight hallway. You can expand upon this too and do a double, but it actually allows you to expand out and have straight hallways off of the corridors of the round room if you kind of sacrifice some of that perfect circle. So I know there's a way to connect these, so we're going to fix this really quick. I'm just going to generate it without doors. I know even you can even connect a straight hallway to a perfectly round room, but it's kind of tricky. Oops. I'm gonna go through all of these variations really quickly. Hey Nicholas, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Okay, so we've got this room and I want to attach a straight hallway coming out of it, right? First thing I'm gonna do is generate a room without walls, or you could generate it with walls and then just delete a section of them. But it's really hard to delete this sliver of walls and not delete these other round ones. So what I do is I generate it without walls. You can always just add the same wall to get it to match. You know what I mean? That said, the walls are very important if you want doors. So you still have to add this. So I'm going to find, I believe it's a plaster wall with a stone base. It's this one right here. So I'm going to do place new walls, and I'm going to do them all around this edge here. And instead of putting them here, right, in these little spots where it'll overlap the walls in double, I'm just going to have it on 3 sides because it's such a neat seam, it won't matter. Then you could put a double door there, and you now have a straight hallway coming off of a round room. It's a little bit of a workaround. It stinks that we have to do this currently, and I'll keep begging the devs until it's done. But it is possible to do that. So, more round room shenanigans. I personally like the squircle method, just having a little bit of a square edge there, because then you can connect a single or double hallway off of it, save yourself some time instead of having to do this every time. Now, we did get a couple of follows before the stream, and we just got one on TikTok. So we're going to open up the cheese map. Eric, hope you're well, man. Excited for next Sunday. So for those wondering what the cheese map is, we started this kind of fun thing a couple weeks ago, like a week and a half ago. Every time we get a follow or subscribe on any of our streams, in the downtime between streams or while we're live, I will add a wheel of cheese as a sort of kind of fun little art piece. So we started with the Pac-Man piece here, and we have a cheese cave, which I'm going to add more to eventually. But I kind of wanted to expand and do another art project. So over here I put I Heart DA. And then where does, oh no, here it is. I've started a spiral like wheel of cheese. I was going to make it like spiral up about 10 tall. So we got 3 follows while we were offline and 1 so far while we've been online. So let's go ahead and add those. It does not. See, here's the thing. If I started from all of my original followers, right, we'd have like 10,000 follows plus between all platforms. I wouldn't be able to make a map that does that. I don't think I could. Now, that said, I'd like to build up to a point from scratch with new follows that makes, you know, a map crash. I'd like to get it to the point that we have so many wheels of cheese on here, it quite literally makes my computer scream. And so it's kind of an ongoing project. We'll get there. You know what? You already torture me enough, so. Hey, Frau, how are you? You do your best. I pay for some a strange form of torture. All things considered, very excited. Okay. What I need to do is put one of each of these over here as a template cheese. These don't count. These aren't real. So we got 1, 2. Let's do, yeah, I keep doing them in patterns, but I may switch this up eventually and do different ones altogether, like just all yellow cheese or all whatever, Limburger cheese or whatever they are. So there's our 4th follower. Notice how it's spiraling up. If you look at it from the side or the top, it looks kind of neat. Anyway. What you working on today, Eric? Oh. So we got our 4 wheels of cheese. I'm going to save this and we're going to move back to our ice palace because I really haven't done a whole lot on it other than speculate on what I'm going to do today. But we have taught a bunch of cool stuff today about room shaping and working around some of the limitations in square and circular room connections. So I'm proud of that. We should all be proud of it. Very cool. I think the 4th floor is pretty solid, unless we put like just some more decorations on these outer edges, but I don't want to detract from this windows on this level. So I went all windows so you could just peer out at this level. Anyway, let's go up another floor. Also did all windows here, but some of them are up against this kind of like roofing, which means they're kind of useless. And it's got this little recessed area. We could put some statues or maybe like a crystal or something here. Those pylons would look good here, here in the corners. I was also considering adding, now that we're getting up toward the upper floors, like amenities. But then I'm thinking this person is just basically ice and magic is really all they subsist on. It's a loop. I've also been considering, now that I'm up this high, I might shrink it down to a singular stair here. And then just keep going up the center instead of doubling the stairs, because that gives me more room as I go up higher and higher. So it's, instead of how it is now, I delete one of the 2, right? Put that one in the center. Looks like I'm gonna have to put that one in fresh. And likely delete this. Darn it. I remember now how we got this to work before. Been a minute since I did this. I'm gonna delete those. We'll just keep spiraling up. It's Morbin time. Okay. I need to use the room tool. I'm gonna edit this room shape. Actually, nope. I'll just do this here. Need to go to special ice. And we'll carve it back like that. Making this round bite. Then we just simply delete that. Why? It should make it hollow when I do this. There we go. Okay, I think we got it. That took some doing there, sorry. So indecisive when it comes to stairs. But dang, does that look good. Wish we had some spiralized stairs. And then I'm going to do it like this. That way I can keep it still a same half circle. But if I have it like this, still takes up the same amount of space, and then it's only the same spiral above. So it would be cut out here in the center. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's coming together. I think if an object's there when we try this method, it just doesn't work. And did it destroy that one? No, it didn't. Okay. So just to clarify, I'm going to have it here so we can exit the stair, or here so it rotates under itself. I just like when you could see the exit, and then this spiral gives it that one, gives it that like option, so you could see there to go up there. Though doing it this way, yeah, you just don't know there's an exit. I guess you do. But this just makes it more apparent. Hey, Constantine, how you doing? Wonderful, my friend. Thank you for asking. What is that? That is odd. Why? Excuse me. Got a bit of a cough going on today, but that's it. What is that? Such a strange little artifact. I'm gonna try and figure it out. I feel like there's an order of operations here that'll get rid of it. Hey. Hey. It is a bug for sure, though. I am definitely admitting that. But instead of generating the room, then deleting it, I just used the floor removal tool to remove the floor after I had the circular shape there. So I made the half circle inner room without any walls and then just deleted the floor. There's several ways to approach this. Hey, Belladonna, welcome back. Hope you're well. Gotta move that wall, I think. Then you got that cut there. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that one. Oop. Well, oh, for sure. Yeah, I think we need to default tokens to a lower size, like to about 75% of what they are right now would be ideal. because they don't fit perfectly upstairs, and it wasn't something I don't think that was taken into consideration. Okay, where are the ice floors at, huh? Oh, I generated it without a roof. Yeah, it was a little bit of trial and error, sadly. And see, we don't really have any double doors or single doors that meld well with ice other than like some of these like stone white ones, maybe. The metal ones will look okay. But they just don't really match the aesthetic. It's frustrating. So, you know what? Let's experiment and see. This map is so old, it could just be broken in how it's working. I've been working on it for multiple months, multiple saves, so it could just be this build. I want to start a new one after I save this really quickly, and we'll see if we can make it better. Sound good? The thing is, okay, when you put in stairs, it'll automatically cut a space above, right? That's a normal feature in Dungeon Alchemist. Problem being, and this is a problem, is that when you do this, put a stair in it, right? If it's a round stair, it cuts a square hole, and a lot of people want round holes for their stairs, not square ones, right? Let me show you what I mean. If you have collisions on, right, and you put in a staircase, if you add another floor, or if there was another floor to begin with, it'll automatically cut out the stairs, like space for that. Dynamically cut it. Problem being, this leaves this huge gap. Even if you put a banister, it doesn't complement the round shape of this structure, right? Which is round. So what I do to work around this, let's start from the base here. If you have collisions off, stairs don't automatically punch a hole in that space, right? So essentially, to work around this problem, I'm generating, and I'm assuming I might be able to just do this by default, generating a room that is rounded, that doesn't have floors. Usually when you generate it like this, it makes a square though. See, it automatically cuts to match. So what I do is I generate a circular room, right? No walls, just floors, that's it. Notice how there's this circular space? I can then go into the floor removal tool and then cut it out. I know it should be automatic. To be honest with you, this should be baked in for round stairs. And I'm going to petition for this more. But steps being, okay, make sure you have at least 2 floors to work between. So floor 1, floor 2. Disable collisions. Place the staircase on the bottom floor. Collisions must be off before you place the staircase. If collisions are on, place the staircase, then turn them off. That dynamic cut won't disappear. So you have to do it. Collisions off, grab the stair, place the stair. Once you've got the stair in place, you can use it as a template to draw a room with just a floor. So make sure you've unchecked every box but flooring, right? Once it's there, it'll be a separate room from the other, even if it's the same shape of floor or color flooring. Then you can go into the floor removal tool and cut out that section. Oh, because your head? Yeah, I just shrink my tokens a little bit and it works better for... I like the aesthetic of this size personally, but I get what you're saying. So you're saying something like this? If you, as I stated, shrink the token to 75%, yeah. So just set your items scaling to like 75 or 80%. Then a token can go up that no problem. But by default, no. Tokens can't go up any stairs by default. Even the square, like with the round ones, I mean, they get stuck. So it's not really a matter of, it's the token size that's the problem here. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if it's a round cut or a square cut. But let's show you this one. I'm sure this navigates that issue. Because it's perfectly round, you don't need to resize your token on this shape. We're going to try a few different ones, shall we? So I've got my object scaling. Let's put a token at 100% first, okay? And I'll do a shorter token even. Like the bard, who's relatively short, okay? Then I'm gonna do the same token at 80%. So we have a reference. Oh, I don't think it shrank at all, actually, when we do that. Interesting. That should be tied to it. Okay, well, I'll scale it manually. Just a little bit, right? Doesn't even have to be that much. But if you're in the normal token, it'll go up straight stairs just fine. But any variation of the round stair with a square top, it gets stuck, right? Round top, same. But if you do the 3/4 cut, it can go up, no problem. So let's do the shorter token. 3/4 is not going to be a problem. We already know that. The shorter token can go under. Can it go down? Does not look like it. Stuck. Let's try going down this one. Yeah, the 3/4 cut is optimal, it looks like, all around, just because you can go down. You have to get it to like a certain size to be able to fit both ways. But this seems like a realistic height to the walls too. I mean, we're not like 8-9 feet tall in most cases. Like most people are between 5 and 6 feet tall. That's also the average height of most, like, you know, races in D&D. Some go up into like the 7-8. Like selectable playable races, I mean. There are some on the shorter side, like halflings and gnomes and excuse me, fairies, etc. But my favorite method is to draw the half circle room and then use the floor removal tool to remove it. You could still use the stair that's cutting through clipping to use it as a reference. So it's not the end of the world. So I've been walking a lot, right? Walking every morning about 2.5 to 5 miles. I've upped my walk like amount. And I've been leaving earlier and earlier every morning because it's hot. B, I just like avoiding people. And when it's darker, it's less hot, it's cooler out. My neighborhood has like a perfect place to walk, and nearby is a walking trail. So I have both options depending on how much I feel like walking. So I've been walking a whole lot, and then I've also been biking. We have an elliptical bike at the house, like a spin type bike. And I've upped my biking from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. So I'll go walk, usually 3 to 5 miles, then come home and do like usually some weightlifting or some aerobics of some sort, and then or Pilates or yoga or something, and then I do biking. Mateus, I don't think we'll honestly be doing PNG exports of any kind. Though if we do offer transparent, it'll likely be WebP. PNG is just too dense of a file format, and it gets very big exponentially the larger the map or the image is. So if it's, larger squares of a map, say it's a 50 by 50 map, the file size goes up tremendously, even if just to preserve the quality. So we essentially have decided to avoid PNG for that reason. That said, it wasn't something right on our direct roadmap for Fun with Objects Part 2. So it wasn't something we were working on for this update. The devs are aware that certain aspects of our community want that, primarily Foundry, because they now have multi-level as in like an integrated feature. Levels as an integrated feature, but that's only been available since April. We added multi-level last June. And so we now have to make an update to patch around our Foundry exports to work with that new feature. That said, our Foundry exports still work perfectly fine if you do a level per scene. And you can use things like scene regions to transition between the scenes flawlessly. So if your players hit staircase on the floor below, it'll teleport them to the scene on the floor above. You're one of many people asking for it. That said, it's something that it's going to take some time to do, mainly because Unity doesn't really have PNG or WebP as a native thing within it. So we either have to find some sort of plugin or develop some sort of conversion method ourselves. But WebP files are kind of a new thing you'll notice the more and more images on the internet are WebP, which for a while it was a web only file, but now it's become available in more like image editors and image viewers. For a while, like on Windows, I would download WebP images that weren't visible. Like you had to have like a certain plugin to view them. So now they're becoming more and more common, but a lot of people use them because they not only support transparency, but they're very lightweight. So they don't take a whole lot of file size. So they're very minuscule, and that's optimal for map making, especially when you want to play online through services like VTTs, because the bigger the image file is, the longer it takes for your players to load, especially if they have like a, an older machine or kind of crummier internet, or, like backwater hamster internet type situation where they don't necessarily have a lot of options. You always, so it's something to consider when you're running maps through a VTT. The larger the file is, the longer it takes for your players to load. So if they have, not a great computer or not that great of internet, some players may not be able to load it at all. And that'll put a huge halt in your gameplay, right? Really throws a wrench in the works when one player can't load the map. So my kind of word of advice is, keep maps minimal and small. And that's why we're also trying to make a file format work that'll give you the smallest map file possible while also being really high quality. But I imagine it'll likely, if anything, be in a follow-up patch to Fun with Objects, some sort of transparent export support for Foundry. I really hope sooner than later, but if anything, the latest I'd imagine is probably the next major patch after Fun with Objects Part 2. Oh, that's really cool, Random Ladybird. That's really cool. We have some community members who automatically convert their exports to WebP because they're lighter weight. So they'll take the JPEG exports and run them through a file converter and use those anyway. But the WebPs just converted from JPEG won't add transparency to the various levels. Anything over floor 1 or whatever, or tree canopy or whatever. So it's something that has to be addressed from a development side still. But Mateus, welcome back. How have you been? What's new with you? And I'm gonna see how this looks, because I haven't done these 3/4 stairs before, really. Can't select that, so of course. I don't know if we use FFmpeg for the exports for maps, for like the image exports. I know we do for video, but I don't know if that's what we use for the image exports for like just the standard maps. Honestly, Chim, too, something to consider is a lot of VTTs, like they have limitations on like how big of a file or resolution, etc. And so those things need to be taken into consideration. Oops. special. I think I'm special. Cause I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. I don't belong here. I know, but I don't know if we're actually using FFmpeg for the image export aspect of DA, right? I think we only use FFmpeg for the video exports for DA. That's all. And I have that issue right there. Ugh. It drives me insane. Oh, there's a little bit out there, isn't there? Ah. And it didn't get rid of it. That did, though. That's why. Okay. Oh, you little... Oh, my goodness. This one's driving me insane. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's like I can get rid of it. Just redrawing this room. Oh, no. It's all one room. Why is this being such a bud? I am baffled by this. Yeah, but I'm doing the order of operations, and it's not working. So something is amiss. It keeps adding that little vestigial handguard. I don't even know what to call it. But as soon as I add this, it'll put it in there. Hey, it didn't. Okay, we might be in business. Nope. Did that not work at all? So confused right now. Could have sworn I just drew this. Okay, got it to work. Yay! Hail the conquering hero. Or was it over? Oh no! It might have been over further. Oh my goodness. I am face palming so hard right now. If you could see the fury in my face right now. Oh my goodness. I was just like so irritated with this. There's no winning. No winning with this. I think I'm going to just move the stair in a square because that's the only thing I got that will work. Move the stair in a square. This is how it works. Doop deep dop dope. Excuse me. Vestigial is my word of the day, so no, I'm just kidding. Oh no. Oh. Okay, I think I got it working. It only took me half the stream to fix a few staircases. No big deal. Okay. I was also considering with the staircases rounding off this side, but then it's like so much extra work to do, because then I'd have to do the same thing I'm doing here and then put in a section of stair or like room that has a rounded top and then add all that. It just look a little bit more clean, but it's okay. Not the end of the world. There's no version of this that rotates into the corner. Now we're just going to put a fancy little pyramid here. Oh. Require additional pylons. Oh, my goodness. Making an ice palace has made me realize how much we need more ice assets, more ice objects, more ice furniture, ice and snow related things. Because while we do have some, it's a limited set. And it runs out quick if you want a bit of variety. I will consult the Debs at some point in the future about this. I did it last year, but I'll probably do it again this year because I still have the costume. Hey, Cal, how you doing? Welcome. Okay, I think I'm gonna put pyramids in the corners. You know, I think I just got really cheap, bad goggles, and that was on me. That said, I could take preventions to make sure, like, take precautions to make sure it won't happen again. I do have some ideas on how to fix that, so I'm not too, like, stressed, but at the same time, yeah, I appreciate the concern. Hey, AK Crivens, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, this is gonna look dope. Weird. These connect, but I don't see them on the floor below. The tether. Isn't that weird? I'm gonna unjoin them and rejoin them. See if they'll show below now. Not all of them. Strangely enough. Yeah, it's so you can stay cool during the summer months, right? It's hot, so I wanted to think of the snow. Thanks, Cow. Appreciate it. It is quite a cool looking map. We got some progress on it for sure at this point. We're up to floor 5, just trying to figure out all these connections, but I think I'm gonna break these outer connections. The more I look at them, the more I don't like them. And then they'll just go down to the floor below like a tether. And that'll look really cool. Thought I clicked that. Okay. That's frustrating. Guess it doesn't like recognize that you can click it like almost right away. Actually, you know what? I want to do it right here. In between two. And I can get rid of 2 of them at once. Okay, so those tethers, they go down into the floor here. That actually looks really good. Yeah, the lasers are a trip. They're a little bit harder to use, but they're fun. Oh, that looks dope. That looks so cool. Definitely helps to move between the floors when you're making connections so you can see exactly what they're connecting to. Now I need to link them to the lower floors. This is cool, but I don't want them everywhere. Like where they're at is nice because they're above everything. They kind of angle upward to the tether above. So I'm starting to remember why I thought less is more. Oh, I need to step away for a quick break. I gotta stretch, fill my water. Ugh. If anyone has any questions, drop them in chat. Preface the question with the word question, followed by the question, and then I'll address your questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions when I get back. Remember, these streams are hosted AMA format, so if any time during the stream, if you have any need for support, or you have suggestions, or you have questions, let me know and I will stop what I'm doing and provide you real-time assistance. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Needed a moment to compose myself. Thank you. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna put some more statues. Do this from the overhead so I can get them lined up well. Hey, Crivens, thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. You know what? Let's hurry and add your cheese wheel to the cheese map. Every time we get a follow or a sub during the stream, we add a wheel of cheese. Because, you know, why not? Why not? Oh, no. We saved this map a couple times. They started this like a couple weeks ago for fun, the cheese map. And it's kind of silly. Basically, anytime we get a follow or a sub, it's new. It's brand new. It's only about a week and a half. Just a fun thing we're doing. So right now, I'm just adding wheels of cheese every time we get a follow or a sub, either offline or online going forward. And I have various little art projects I'm working on. So this one was the most recent one I finished. It says I Heart DA. So I Heart Dungeon Alchemist. Over here, I'm building a Tower of Cheesa. Wow. I mean, I'm Italian, so you wouldn't believe how much we love cheese too, my friend. Well, I have got Italian roots, I should say. Yep, it's the Leaning Tower of Cheese. It's a cheese spiral, basically. Yes, that's what we're working on right now. The cheese map. But anyway, since we just added you on the map right here, is this one right here for you, Crivens. We'll make it red so it's wrapped. It's waxed. So it's like it's wrapped. Or wax dipped, I mean. I think it looks pretty cool though. I'm probably gonna go about 5 to 10 more tall with it, just so it's like an obvious spiral, like 2 or 3 spirals total. But yeah, Crivens, thank you for that follow. We're gonna save the map twice just to be safe, and then we're gonna go open up the Ice Palace. Man, oh man, I'm excited. I've got D&D this upcoming Sunday. Super hyped. It's the first time we've met up in like a month. So, it'd be nice to get back together and get some D&D on. We're in in the middle of like a series of encounters. I wouldn't call it a dungeon, but we're clearing a dwarven city of drow invaders. And it's already kind of off to an interesting start. We can't understand any words the drow say because they're speaking Undercommon. We have people in the party who have, you know, the ability to cast. One of our people has a Helm of Comprehend Languages, so he can understand what they're saying. I can cast Comprehend Languages, so I could technically understand. But we don't have, like, the ability to speak with them because they don't understand Common. So, a little bit of a problem, and it's been a struggle bus because we could have negotiated or tried to figure out what they're doing here, and so far we just always end up fighting because it's been tricky. We have a changeling who shapeshifted and looked like them, but he didn't know how to speak to them, so it all fell apart. Yes. What I'm thinking we could do is cast Comprehend Languages on like a boss or about, you know, a leader or like a captain in the group, and then try and talk to them. But yeah, it's just one of those scenarios where we made the mistake of not preparing tongues. One of our Both are, I think our warlock has access to the spell, always prepared, but no, he doesn't. Actually, no, it's our cleric that has it. Our warlock should have it because he's the face of the party, but he's not a warlock. He's a sorcerer with a warlock dip. But he really doesn't like using his spells for utility, only like combat. So essentially, a spell like tongues he would see as a waste. And I understand his point of view there, because he has a limited amount of spell slots. But at the end of the day, he's got to kind of be careful. Tethered. Okay, I need some light in this room. Let's light it up. Gonna add some blue. Oh. I wish when I searched ice in this category, it only searched for things labeled ice in that category. But then at the same time, it would be like, how do you search only one category? So I get it. Let's look up. Looks pretty good. I want to add something in this dead space. Another pyramid. Power of the pyramid. Playing with some shapes here. I'm wondering if we could put in like some white tile mixed in with this. Inlay some like this fun like tile there. It's just like a slight different color. Trying to decide though. Because if I do a different shape of room here, then I could have like a tile that looks completely unique. But I also like kind of just putting something like that in there. do something like this. Could also just put a portal or something like this to the very top room so you can't get up unless you use the portal. It'd be neat. Considering it. Then we could put something like this in the middle of the room. Put the portal on top. That looks pretty cool. I don't know how I feel about it. I have mixed feelings about this arrangement. We'll see. What's the difference between a dimensional platform and a dimensional stair? They look to be pretty identical. Just going to throw that out there. May not use the portal after all. Okay, he's got tons of golems. Snowlems for days. Arch. I need an arch. Arch, 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 arch. That looks cool. Admit it, having your bedroom suite like in this view right here would be dope. Though I think I'm gonna make this other side the bedroom. And then this front side will be his throne staring out over the entryway. 'Cause he's a lonely guy. But I mean, come on. The view here for your bedroom, that's pretty dope if you think about it. I'll shrink this down even a little bit. Shove it up into that little space a bit more. Roughly the size. Yeah, and then over here, I'm just gonna removeth those, and then we'll put a throne here. There's the ice throne. He just stares off into nothingness. His empty kingdom. Meh. I could also make it a balcony. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Got an idea. Hmm. Do we not have an ice balcony? Hey, see you later, Frau. Have a good one. We do not have an ice balcony, which means I've got to make one. So what I need to do is probably change these into half walls. Something like that. That looks fire. You can just put this out here, right? But I need to make this its own roof so I can delete. I guess I could have the cover, the canopy like that. So yeah, you know what? That makes so much more sense. Hey, what are you gonna eat? So I recently finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, and there was a hole in my heart because I wanted more content. And I was like, yeah, I guess I could read them again, which that's fine, but I usually like to wait about a half a year between reads of books. So I don't like to just do them over and over again if I can avoid it. So I decided to find a new book. And I've been into a new book called Discount Dan, which I only really heard about because it was a suggestion to me through Audible based on my existing history with Dungeon Crawler Carl. So I decided to check it out, and I've been listening to it on my walks every morning for like about an hour and a half a day. But nice. So when I was younger, I could read books in like a day, like a whole book, like 500-page book, cover to cover in a single day, right? Hey, Spaghetti-O, how you doing? But, nowadays between work and hobbies and, family and other obligations, makes it hard to read a book in a day. So I still love reading. I'll pick up a book and read it, but it'll be like a chapter a day or, a few pages a day. But while I'm walking every morning, I can't really read while I'm walking unless I do an audiobook. So I've been really enjoying Audible for that reason. I just throw something on, throw a headphone in, and walk around listening to a book while I, walk 4 or 5 miles. They're like, school, read this other stuff instead of this other, this fun, interesting stuff. Oh, nice. Tell her thank you, Constantine. Man, your maps are awesome. So you keep up the great work. I love Player's Handbook as like a reference book, right? Spaghetti-O. I love, like, if I have a question or concern or something I want to look up, it's great. It's like an encyclopedia or a dictionary. It's great to look up stuff, but reading it cover to cover is definitely a snore fest unless you, like, obviously are very, very eager to learn how to play. But pacing yourself in the book is a good idea. Pick a section, read through it, kind of learn and understand it. Learning how to play and learning how to DM. The Player's Handbook is good because you learn all the things the players learn from their perspective. The DMG is a great reference if you want to learn how to, run a game, because that's the Dungeon Master's Guide. Both of those are very, very valuable tools. Yeah, I can understand it being a bit boring, though what I would recommend, grab yourself like a bookmark, a piece of paper that you can put in it somewhere extra, fold it up in the side, read a few pages, mark it, put it away. Come back to it every night before bed, read a chapter or read a section. I really do love it as more of a reference book, i.e. it's like, hey, I need to look something up, great. But I did reference all the rules the first time I went through and read them once at least. But now anytime I need a quick reference, it's nice to have the book to open up and, flip to a page. That said, though, I have the books digitally and I own them physically too. So I use D&D Beyond to look up stuff a lot because it's easy to just go to the exact book, Player's Handbook, and then search a term or go to the exact chapter and like it opens up immediately to it instead of having to flip through hundreds of pages. But I would say overall, though, what you're doing is a good step. Taking the time to learn this tool, or this game, I should say, inside and out from both perspectives, learning it as a player, learning it as a DM. The tool I'm using right now, by the way, because you asked, is Dungeon Alchemist. It's a map making program for tabletop games like D&D. It's pretty system agnostic, but the majority of our community members do play D&D and use it for D&D. Others use it for Pathfinder, but it's great for pretty much any fantasy-based tabletop. It is a paid app. There's a free demo. You can check it out on Steam. It is in development currently, and it's in early access. There's major updates still, being released very often, like at least every, on average right now, we put out an update about every 8 to 10 months, a major update. Major updates include tons of new objects and assets, new biomes, new quality of life improvements and fixes on the back ends, but also improvements to the front end. Things like our last update included multi-level and roofing. Our next update will include object rotation on any axis, stuff like that. So this application isn't free. The demo is free though, but the tool itself, it's a one-time purchase for a lifetime license. So you get access to the tool, and then you get it and all future updates until we leave early access and even beyond. So I'd recommend checking it out. But also I understand, if you have a concern, if you don't want to necessarily start spending a ton of money as you're learning D&D. Remember though, a lot of D&D's books you can get for free online. The SRD is free, so you can look up like the basic rules and basic information of the game for free. And then, use that as kind of a launch point. I have to say, this looks great. Hey, Spaghettio, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Guess what that means, too? We get to add a wheel of cheese to the cheese map in your honor. We started this like a week and a half ago. It's kind of a new thing we started doing. But every time we get a follow or a subscribe on any of our platforms, we add some cheese. My name is Mac, and one of my nicknames is Mac and Cheese. And so we have cheese in Dungeon Alchemist. I thought it'd be fun to kind of just lean into it. So we made a little cheese cave, and I made a Pac-Man. Waka, 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 waka. Anyway, and then you come over here. This is the next thing I made. It says I Heart DA. So I Heart Dungeon Alchemist. What I'm working on right now is this little spiral tower of cheese. So you just dropped a follow. That means we're going to add another cheese on top. Boom. So thank you. Thank you for the follow. And if you have more questions about Dungeon Alchemist or DMing, D&D, this is the place to ask. We are essentially an entire group of dungeon masters watching for the most part, because almost everyone here uses Dungeon Alchemist for their campaigns. There's a handful of people who use it artistically or just, for fun, cathartically. But overall, the majority of our community is people who are active dungeon masters or game masters in various systems. So if you have questions, I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. You're on the official channel for Dungeon Alchemist. So not only is this the program that we're looking at is Dungeon Alchemist, the channel is Dungeon Alchemist. My name is Mac, by the way. It's nice to meet you. So yeah, I'm part of the team. This is our official channel. It's a great place to get support for our product. So people tune in to learn how to build cool kinds of maps, ask questions about map making, learn more about our development. Maybe they have support inquiries or suggestions. Additionally, we also talk tabletop gaming, current events and tabletop gaming, things that might be in the news about it, but also people's campaigns, what they're doing for their session prep, what their players have been up to, and think of it as kind of like a hive mind of DMs and GMs. But yeah, Dungeon Alchemist is a very unique tool in that it allows you to generate environments and rooms in just a few clicks. I can show you that really quickly, but you can also spend time building very intricate, detailed maps by hand. So it has the best of both worlds. But Dungeon Alchemist, here, let me show you how to make a map really quick. We're going to go to new map, right? And then you could set a biome. Look at all these biome options. I want you to pick one of them. But let's avoid dark parchment or green screen. Green screen's really for like isolating objects or rooms, so you can cut the green out later, like chroma key removal for various things. So it's not really ideal for this. Dark parchment is really just to showcase the interiors of rooms, and I want to show you the environments and the rooms. So if we could stick between Badlands and snow, anywhere in between those, it'd be ideal. But pick one of these biomes, so Badlands, caves, desert, Fey plain, forest, grasslands, jungle, skeletal plains, or snow. And then we'll generate a map using that as a base biome. And then we'll put some buildings on it. So if you're not certain who I'm talking to, Spaghettio, it's you. Go ahead and pick a biome. We're going to generate a map under the conditions you pick. Jungle? Hey, see you later, Constantine. You have a wonderful day. So we're going to generate a jungle. You can set the size, right? First off, you could set what is the platform you're doing. Digital, i.e., are you using like a TV tabletop or a projector tabletop? Maybe you're using a virtual tabletop like Foundry or Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, etc. Or maybe you're playing in person with a printed map, right? Alternatively, maybe you don't have the ability to print it at home or your printer's not that great. You can order prints online through our partner Kraken War Games, right? So you have several ways to generate maps. When you do them digital, they can export as an image file or a video file, so you can do looped maps or still images. I'm going to set the size to 60 by 60. We have elevation options, growth options, water, weather. So you could set it to be flat, hills, flooded. You could add a crater or a canyon, a flooded ravine. No, it doesn't export as a full 3D file for 3D printing, unfortunately. We still offer our exports in a traditional method in that, like, tabletop gaming for pretty much as long as it's been around has been in one of two ways. Either theater of the mind, where it's all just imagined, right? So everyone kind of has a shared hallucination together. Or you use maps. Maps are usually portrayed in a top-down format, right? So you would have a hand-drawn map and you look at it in a top-down like you're looking at a map of like an RPG, right? So Dungeon Alchemist, you build in 3D, which gives you a lot more control over the building, but you export in a top-down 2D. Though that export can be shifted slightly in perspective to give a slight 3D perspective, so you can see more of like the walls and the decorations inside of shelves and stuff like that. You also have camera tools in Dungeon Alchemist. There's a cinematic camera up here in the top corner, and you can place tokens and use them as a first-person camera. So either of those options allow you to capture video or pictures of the map at different angles, so you can use them as like handouts for your players. So like when they walk up to the ice castle, you could have a frontward facing imposing view of the front of the castle and the gates to share with them. Or you could do a flyover if they have a familiar that they use to fly over things, or maybe one of them can fly. So I'm going to pick a flooded ravine. We're going to leave it on dense growth because a jungle without vegetation is boring. You can pick any of these. But there, for water options, there's flooded, river, lake, lakeside, island, lava lake, or lava flow. May I suggest like a river or a lava flow, because they look really cool. But you can pick whatever one you want. Go ahead and pick one really quick, Spaghettio. Lava flow? Okay. And then right now, the only weather option we have is adding snow to a map, but eventually we'll add like clouds and rain and a few other weather options. So we're just going to leave weather off right now. You can set the default room placement. What that means is when you generate a room, its default height will be at either water level, plateau, or mountaintops. That's not really relevant right now. So I'm just going to generate this map for you. So I'm going to hit create, right? Unity. Oh, no worries. That's the whole point of the streams. It's like a live demonstration. And this is, you know, the demo where you play with the demo yourself. That's great. But you don't, you know, as I'm sure you probably won't know a whole lot about the program. So me giving you some insight and showing you some cool things you could do with it makes it that much better. And plus the demo is cool, but it's only a limited slice of the overall pie, as demos are, right? You only get like one slice of the pie. So you only have access to the forest biome in the demo and one of our room types, which is the tavern room, and a limited object set. So essentially, why is there those on the lava? Weird. We can delete them though. But notice how there's this map generated in just a few moments. Lava lily pads. Right, that is strange. We just use the object eraser to go through and clear that out really quick. Doesn't take but a few seconds to clean up an issue like that. But the cool thing about liquid like this, you can also change it. So maybe you're not happy with lava, maybe you want some acid, or just water, or blood. Maybe you want murky water. You know, we don't really have like a space for like an API or modding, but there are people who have made tools that work externally of DA, and we also offer Steam Workshop integration for sharing maps, but also 3D models. So we have an asset importer, which allows you to essentially add any object you want. So it kind of mods the base program to, in an essence, each asset you add is a mod. At its basis, it's like most base form, if you think about it. But it doesn't actually mod the application to change how it functions. Currently, I don't think we allow it, in a sense that we have like tools or like a place to supplement it. But I don't think the devs are against it or have a problem with it, as long as it's not a monetized mod. You know what I mean? So if it's something you're just doing to help yourself or your campaign, etc. Well, we have an effect layer, right? So we could add things like fire. Alternatively, if I wanted to, I could add like steam or fog, and there's magical effects too. You can add like will-o-wisps and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of effects, and then we also offer... Oh no, feel free to share suggestions. They're just letting you know that we do have an official spot for suggestions. So usually share it on the stream. It's, you know, I hear it, it's good. But often, you know, stream-based suggestions or, you know, stuff like that, they can get lost to the ether. Or I could tell the devs, and then it may not be something that they look at for a while. Our suggestion board is sort of like a weighted suggestion board where people can upvote other suggestions or leave comments on them. And the more something gets upvoted and commented, the more weighted it is at the top of the stack, meaning it's more likely to get noticed by the devs or considered by the devs. But yes, we do have a tool on the horizon called the decal tool that allow you to place like cracks, spider webs, graffiti, footsteps, leaves, all sorts of stuff like that. Scorch marks, symbols. That will be forthcoming. I don't think it'll be our next update, but it'll likely be in a patch shortly after the update. We were hoping to include it in the update, but the dev that was working on that in our team, we're a very small team, like less than 10 people. The dev that was working on that quit the team unexpectedly, and then they found out that he hadn't been working on it as long as he said. And so some of the work isn't actually done, and there's some bugs in it we need to source and fix out. So there's like a few things that our lead dev needs to just sit down and sort through and fix it, but it's kind of lower on the totem list at the moment. The terrain is modifiable. You can edit the terrain in all sorts of ways. You can raise and lower it. You can adjust the brush's size and strength. You can smooth terrain or flatten it. You can remove, things from the terrain and add things to the terrain. You have objects that you can place manually, or we have brushes to kind of speed up the process. You have, in each biome, you have different terrain paints, so you can kind of change the look of things. Maybe you want some stone on the edge of this cliff area. Yeah, it is kind of like old, those old map makers for Warcraft or AoE. So, not only can you generate environments and edit them, but you can also add rooms and generate them, and they're filled with objects. Let's say you want to add a tavern, like in the demo. You put a tavern over here. You can shape it with our room shaping tools. So you can add all sorts of different design aesthetics to it before you generate it. You can even rotate the structure. You can raise or lower it before you generate it. Right now, it's just a floor plan. Then once it's generated, but yeah, the demo is definitely a great idea. Check it out. Why is this taking forever to generate? Oh, I generated a large pantry, it looks like. We have multi-level, so you can build above ground or below ground. You could put the same shape on top of it, or you could extend it out and have something else out here, like a patio or something. Hey, yeah, welcome to the damn fam. But one of the biggest payoffs of owning Dungeon Alchemist is you get access to the repository of maps that our community has shared. There's over 15,000 maps. Okay, that's a metric crap ton of maps. But yeah, the demo can't access the workshop for obvious reasons. But this is a huge perk of owning a copy of Dungeon Alchemist. You can look at other people's work and learn from it, or you could just download their map and use it in your campaign, save yourself a ton of time. And then in addition to this, like I mentioned earlier, there's the asset importer, so you can import 3D models that are STL, FBX, or GLTF/GLB models. Or you can browse the community shared models. There's over 16,000 of those. So it just goes on and on and on and on. All the things you can add to your maps or improve our selection of objects. People are now making sci-fi maps and cyberpunk maps and Fallout maps because they use the assets on the workshop to supplement ours, which are primarily like a fantasy aesthetic. We can also do like some steampunk, Western, Victorian. Those all fit really well with the Dungeon Alchemist base aesthetic. But yeah, thank you for hanging out and getting to know Dungeon Alchemist. If you have any other questions, that's what I'm here for. Let me know. And the streams are twice a week. We do Mapmaker Monday every Monday, and the Damn Show, or the Dungeon Alchemist Mapmaking Show, every Saturday. The streams are at slightly different times, depending. So Mondays start at 9 a.m. Pacific and run till 11. Well, I'm actually late now, running a little longer than I should have, but no big deal. I like it. Till around 11:15 p.m. Pacific. Saturday stream starts at 12 p.m. Pacific and runs till about 2:30 Pacific. Anyway, during the streams, we provide all sorts of insight, interview community members, have map making contests. On the Mapmaker Monday stream, though, we focus on building and showcasing like how to build maps while also providing real-time guidance and support. A lot of people think of it as like a live tutorial or a class. Well, Spaghetti, it was nice to meet you, and thank you for the follow. Crivens, also appreciate you dropping by and coming back right at the end. That follow earlier was much appreciated as well. Welcome to the community. And remember, these streams, you can tune in twice a week if you have any questions. But also, if I'm not streaming, our Discord is an amazing resource because it's 24 hours a day. We have a question forum and a support forum where you can drop in and, ask questions. And myself, other moderators, or our staff members or other community members will chime in and provide guidance based on their experiences. And myself, I can provide guidance based on my expertise with the tool. But the streams are great, but being able to get, help when the stream isn't live is also nice. Also just a great place to network and vibe with other people. You said you're learning how to DM and play. There's a channel dedicated to asking GMs and like bouncing off ideas off of other DMs called GM Chat. We have off-topic channels. We have spaces to share your maps or 3D models you have made, just to show off your work and whatnot. So, and we also have an event section that shows the schedule for the upcoming streams. Anyway, thank you everyone for, oh, hey, Turtles Walk. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Don't know why I'm not seeing YouTube chat today. Unfortunately, though, we are wrapping up. But I want to say thank you to everyone that tuned in today, whether it was your first stream or your 100th, whether you were actively chatting or just kind of lurking in the background. Each and every one of you are a very important part of this community, and I am so thankful for each and every one of you being at the stream today. Remember, like I said, we stream twice a week, every Monday and every Saturday. Mondays, it's 9 a.m. Pacific. That's when we start, or that would be 12 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. UTC. Alternatively, every Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC. Streams run usually about 2.5 hours. So make sure that you add those dates to your calendar so you can try and tune in. If you RSVP to or subscribe to the event in our Discord, it'll send you a reminder on your device as a notification when the stream goes live. It's a great way to kind of keep tabs on it, just in case you forget. Otherwise, though, everyone, I hope you have an amazing week. The staff is just starting to get back from their vacation, their summer vacation, so there's starting to be some more activity behind the scenes. I was just given a new tool by the devs that it was something I requested and been talking to Quentin about. I have a sort of neat new thing that'll help me make content for the trailers and teasers. Unfortunately, I don't have access to it yet because it's still being worked on, but it's almost done. Let's see here. It's an object montage tool. So essentially I can set a bunch of objects in my favorite panel or set an object category like new or any category, and it'll start cycling through the objects one at a time at a set interval. So I could set up like a stage and then have the objects go doom, 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 doom one at a time. I want to record that to use in trailers and teasers and stuff. The next Twitch stream is a variety show where we talk about a bunch of things, but there will be teasers and news about the upcoming stuff, like the update. We have the Damn Challenge on this upcoming stream, which is essentially a bi-weekly map making contest we host both here on our streams and in our Discord. The current theme is boss fight. If you're interested in entering the damn challenge, you use boss fight as inspiration. You make a map of any shape or size, and you submit it before the end of day on Friday this week, Friday the 21st, end of day, which is 11:59 p.m. in whatever time zone you happen to reside, or 23:59 if you're, across the pond. Essentially, as long as you submit before the deadline in the Damn Challenge channel and you follow the rules pinned at the top, you have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card, a chance to have your map featured first during the Damn Challenge segment, and then your map will also be featured in our bi-weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles. Or our weekly newsletter, the Cartomancer Chronicles. Anyway, sorry for all of that business stuff, discussing all the, what's coming up and events and everything. Remember, everyone, to get your entries for the Damn Challenge submitted before the end of the week. That way you have a chance to participate. I will be wrapping up the stream now, but before we do, we're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and I promise you it's really funny and really topical to your campaigns. So make sure you watch it if you haven't before. Hope you have an amazing week. We'll see you next time. I give a damn. Mac out. Bye.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.